Hi guys, what is up? Welcome to or back to my channel. Today I'm giving you guys an update on what is going on with my back and what we've decided to do about it. So yeah, let's jump right on into this video. Okay, so over the past few months and weeks, I've seen several different surgeons. I've seen all types of different surgeons. I've seen surgeons who run with the newest technologies in medicine and surgeons who stick with what's worked in the past. So that way we could get a broader range of my options. And I was given three different categories of options. The first category is surgery, the second is injections, and the third is stem cells. So I'm going to go through and talk you guys through what each one of them are and what I ultimately decided I'm going to do. So, option number one was surgery. And this was what the majority of the doctors around me wanted to do. And they had two different options for surgeries that I could do. The first was a fusion, and the second was a direct parts fix. So with a fusion, what they would do is they would fuse the level that is broken to either the level that's above it or the level that's below it. And the theory behind that is that it would stabilize the bone that is broken. So your spine is kind of spaced out, and they would close that gap and stick it to another level so that the level either above it or below it, whatever they decided to do, would stabilize the bone that is broken. Now, the problem with doing a fusion is that it is a very extensive and invasive surgery, and the recovery process is very hard and long. And the second problem with doing a fusion is that a lot of times they fail. So what would happen is it wouldn't work, and I could potentially be in even more pain than what I am currently in. So that was not a good option. It was also not a good option because even if it did work, the likelihood of me returning to activity or any sport is very low and very minimal, which is not what I want as an option. Now, the second surgery option was a direct parts fix. This was the procedure that I talked about a little bit in the video where I talked about how I hurt my back. And what they would do for that is they would take bone out from my hip and fill in the bone that is broken in my back with the bone from my hip. Then they would stick a screw through all of that and a wire around the bone to hold it all together. So again, pretty extensive surgery. The recovery time for this surgery though would be a little bit shorter, and there is a slight chance that I could go back to activity. However, the likelihood of it working is 60%. So there's a 60% chance that it would be successful, which is a pretty big gamble to go with based on the fact that it's almost a 50-50 chance that it would or wouldn't work. So again, not a very good option, not an option that I necessarily wanted to take, but nonetheless it was a second option. So then we got to my second option for treatment, and that would be injections. So there were three different injection options. The first was a cortisone injection. And what a cortisone injection is they inject medicine around the area that is injured, and it alleviates the pain. So very non-invasive, very easy, very short recovery time. However, it does not fix the fact that the bone is still broken. And even if I did go back to gymnastics after that, the pain would eventually return because the injury is still there. So the past three options I've talked about, the two surgeries and the cortisone injection, none of them were options that really seemed like they would work or that were a good option for me to take, being that I want to go back to doing sports. So we kept looking, kept investigating, and we came upon the next few injection options, which are PRP injections and prolotherapy injections. So PRP injections stand for platelet-rich plasma injections, and prolotherapy injections are very similar to PRP. There's minor changes and I don't quite understand them, but essentially they're the same. And so what they would do for that is they would draw my blood and they take the platelets out of that and inject them into the ligaments and muscles all around where the bone is broken, and it would tighten up and strengthen those ligaments and muscles to protect the bone. So this made more sense and seemed like a little bit of a better option. However, still, it doesn't fix the fact that the bone is still broken. So this is when we got to the third option, which was stem cells. And it's actually a pretty funny story how we found stem cells. I went to my gym Christmas party and I was talking with my coach about the different options I'd been given and how none of them really seemed like a good option for me to take. And he said, "Can't you just throw some stem cells in there?" And I looked at him and I said, "I don't think so," because at this point I had seen doctors at Children's Hospital and they know the up and coming technology and they know what's working and what's new, and I thought if that was an option they would have told me. But obviously they didn't. So I told him that. Then I decided that we should research it and see if it was an option for me. So before I get any further into talking about the stem cell procedure, I wanted to tell you that stem cells, for those of you who don't know, are the regenerative cells that are in your body from the time that you are born, and they can be used to fix muscle, tissue, or in my case, the bone. So, like I said, we researched, found what we could on stem cell procedures for people with spondylolisthesis in their back, which is the technical name of having a fracture in your back. And we came upon an article that was written by a clinic in Colorado called the Centeno and Schultz Clinic. And they wrote about how they had done a stem cell transplant on a wrestler who had the same injury in his back that I do, and he made a full recovery and the bone fully healed. So that was very exciting to hear, and it was very encouraging to hear that there was an alternate option out there that was less invasive and that had a high chance of working. So we reached out to them and they said that I was a candidate for this procedure, which again was very exciting to hear that there was something out there that would work for me. So we talked with them and we decided that, like I said, I was a good patient for it. So what they would do in this procedure, they would do a bone aspiration in my hip. So what they would do is they take the bone marrow out of my hip and then they would spin that, or cure it is what it's called, and that takes the stem cells out of the bone marrow. Also during the first procedure they would draw my blood and take the platelets out of my blood. And then later in the day I would go back for a second procedure, and in the second procedure they would take the stem cells and inject them all around where the bone is broken, and they would also do PRP injections with the platelets from my blood in the muscles and ligaments around the bone to tighten them up and make them stronger, and the stem cells should cause the bone to regrow. Really quickly, guys, I just wanted to add that this whole procedure would be done under fluoroscopy, which means it would be done under the use of needles, guided by using x-ray, and I would also be asleep while they did this. But like I said, it was just needles and I would be asleep, so it would be a fairly easy procedure to undergo. So like I said, that was a very exciting option, and it was very interesting because it's still in kind of what they would refer to as the experimental stages. Also, I just wanted to add that although the procedure is referred to as being in its experimental stages, this procedure has been being done for 13 years. It's just that the insurance refers to it as being in the experimental phase. And it's very up and coming. There's not very many people that have done it. Sorry guys, I just wanted to explain that a little bit better. There are so many people, there's a lot of people that have undergone stem cell procedures and stem cell transplants, such as the one that I am talking about in this video. However, when I say that there's only a small amount of people that have done this procedure, I meant that there's only a small amount of people that have done this procedure for the exact same injury as mine. So I was lucky to have been told that I was a candidate for it. And ultimately, this is the procedure that I have chosen to go through with for my back. So I'm very excited about it, that I'm doing the stem cell transplant, and I'm very optimistic that it will work. So we will be flying out to Colorado very soon to have that done and get my back on the road to healing. So yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys what is going on with my back and the treatment plan that we decided to go with to help heal it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you guys can keep watching my journey and you guys can watch my healing process. And I do plan on vlogging while I'm there to have the procedure done, so watch out for that video. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. If you have any questions about my procedure and what I decided to do and the whole process of how we decided to do this procedure, comment them down in the comments down below and I will do my best to respond to them. And yeah, I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye.